I'm Zach Snyder,
And I'm Aden Matthews.
and welcome back to another YouTube podcast, a one-stop shop for everything and anything related to YouTube.
Episode 8.
Episode 8. And your boy forgot to do test recordings again. Last time.
Strike 2.
Strike 2. So
Strike 2.
from this point onwards, I'm going to do test recordings like 5 times before we even start recording.
Just to be 100% sure there are no issues.
That way it's not my fault, and then if it does happen, then I can just be like, okay, Bandicam, you're being disowned. I want my money back.
You actually pay for Bandicam?
I did.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it was like a free trial with like the unregistered bullshit on it or something, which I guess I could edit out now that I think about it. But
Sure.
no, I downloaded Bandicam last year around this time and absolutely loved it because it could separate audio, and I didn't have any issues with frame rate problems. So like I could let's play games that I wasn't able to let's play on my laptop. And then once I got this desktop, it just ended up being even better. So it was great.
And now here we are.
And here we are. It's caused me problems in the last like 3 weeks. But anyways, this week we're going to be talking about quality versus quantity, probably the biggest debacle in the YouTube atmosphere of all time.
It's one of the biggest debates, and it's one that's lasted for a pretty long time. I think right around when YouTube started getting serious for people, this question sort of entered the forefront of conversation, and it never really left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about that. I realized last time I forgot to, I guess, mention that the topic at the beginning of the episode. Even though we put it in the title, I think it's still cool to mention it just so everybody knows.
Get you hyped.
But yeah, but let's begin with our week on YouTube trademark, and we can start with you.
Okay, so this is actually a little bit more than a week because it's covering Thanksgiving and a couple other weeks afterwards.
Really 2 weeks.
Just to let you go.
Yeah,
It's December now, so
yeah.
we have left the month of November, and mine is actually relatively short. And I know I say that on some of these segments, and then it ends up being like 30 minutes. So I'm going to try to actually keep it short. But not a whole lot happened Thanksgiving week, mainly because I was helping my grandparents move.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a long process. Lost a lot of sleep, moved a lot of things, didn't get a lot of videos done as far as that was concerned. But the good thing, I managed to get a 4K TV out of it because my granddad literally had it sitting around in his hallway for like a year, never been opened, nothing to do with it. And I'm like, hey, I helped you move. Maybe I could get that TV because I didn't get it for my birthday and I'm probably not going to get it for Christmas. So I figured, hey, shot in the dark, let's ask. And he was like, sure, you can have it. I'm like, cool.
It's pretty.
But then became the problem of putting it in my setup. Now, granted, I did have a TV on my desk, but it was a lot smaller. Like this one's roughly 45 inches, and my last one was like anywhere from 20 to 30. So my desk didn't have enough space. And I'm like, what if I moved my desk over to the corner? Pretty easy move. But my problem was my couch was there. So I'm like, what if I move my couch out of the way? Oh, but then the bed's there. Several hours go by, and I've essentially rearranged my entire room, all the cords. Everything is now in a different spot now. And, basically where I'm at now is I have a 4K TV, my 3 monitors, the TV being one of them. One of the monitors is sitting on the desk, the other one is off to the side on a little stand. And probably the coolest thing is I got rid of my computer chairs and replaced it with the actual couch of Blue Couch Productions, my YouTube channel. So I've been using that now for a couple of days for both gaming and recording things. Still kind of working out the setup a little bit. I don't know how I'm going to stream on it, but it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Nice.
I'm glad to be back now. I got a couple more parts of Ultra Sun done. I finished my Dark Souls LP finally. I feel like we've been talking about that for several times. Or maybe not on the podcast, but it's done now.
Which is good.
Yeah, and I'm back and ready to go. I'm all focused on 2018 now, really. I don't care too much about December because I just have to finish one game.
Fair.
The drive and the focus is now 100% 2018. But yeah, it's been my week on YouTube. Kept it relatively short, a lot of period of time. Didn't get a whole lot of knowledge, but I have things set up for 2018, and you know what? That feels good. So I'm gonna throw it over to you.
That's good. Yeah. So you got some ROI positivity out of that TV, which is pretty cool.
Not a bad TV either. It's from an unknown brand, Higher, but it looks pretty good.
But it's 4K, so you're already one upping me there. So
I'm ready for 4K, everybody. The revolution. It's coming.
Hell yeah. But so my week on YouTube, trademark, really last couple weeks, we went through Thanksgiving, and actually the week of Thanksgiving was very productive for me. I tried some new stuff. I think the last time I mentioned trying something new was the Sonic, why is Sonic so polarizing video essay thing. And at the time, that was my highest viewed video at 120 views.
Pretty crazy.
On this channel, right? So pretty crazy, because it was everything else had been like under 50 views. Most of them even under 20. And then I did the Batman versus Superman recap about a week later, because I had like some school and everything getting in the way. And then a few days later, I was like, okay, I really need to start uploading these videos a little more, a little bit more. So for the last week or last like 8 days, I really have been getting a video on a day, which has been great, except for I had a little procrastination with my Wonder Woman recap. Didn't know I could end up procrastinating watching a movie, but that happened.
You figured out.
Yeah. And then the fact that we had to re-record this podcast also screwed me up over a day. But I'm not gonna stress over it, because I've got that uploading tonight, and then we have this gonna go up tomorrow, and then I'll be back on track. And then on my gaming channel, I've been uploading things more frequently, which is nice. But what's really cool is that since I have been trying out some new things, we had the net neutrality issue come about again.
Still a pretty big issue.
Still a pretty big issue. Everybody's talking about it. If you haven't heard of net neutrality, I'll go ahead and put that video in the description. But uploaded that a couple days before Thanksgiving. It was about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Had a little skit just in showing what the future of the internet is without net neutrality. And at this moment, it's got 2,700 views.
There you go.
So that's pretty insane, because while I've had like some videos do really well on Speech and Games and like the couple thousands, they've always been throwaway videos, memes, or just I have no idea why the hell this video got that many views, but for this one, I actually worked hard on it, and it's really cool to see that.
Well, there's a story attached to it too. On
there is
kind of how you marketed it a little bit, which is very, very interesting. Took a page out of my book a little bit.
Yeah, so one of my favorite YouTubers and streamers, Boogie2988, was streaming the night that I just got this video done. I had uploaded it, and I was watching him, and I was like, hey, he is for net neutrality, as is every other creator on the planet. Let me spend $10. It's been a while since I've donated to the guy. I just got my sub back from him on Twitch. I was like, let me give him a $10 donation, ask him how he's been, and then put at the end of the donation, hey, I know that you want to spread net neutrality as much as everybody else. Would you mind watching this video on stream? So I'm thinking either he'll ignore it or he'll at least watch it, and that'll give people the message that I wanted to, I wanted everybody to see. Don't really care too much about the views, just want people to know the message, of course, right?
Right.
So he clicks on the video. He's like, I'll check it out. He clicks on it, and then he's like, oh, I can't really watch it on stream because I've had issues in the past of watching something else that I've never seen before, and that could have like some kind of issues with Twitch. So I was like, okay, that's fine. But he's like, but I will put the link in the comment section, or the chat section. And he did that, and within like a minute, I had over 100 views, which is really cool.
Very cool.
And I think because that video because with the watch time, because of watch time being so important and getting as much of that in the first hour of the video being uploaded being super important, I think because I got that amount of views within the first 30 minutes, of the video being uploaded, I think that has like helped the SEO a little bit, and so that's probably why it's still gaining some traction, which is cool. And so yeah, that video did really well. It was awesome.
It kind of helps too that it's like a pretty good cause as well. So out of any of your videos to blow up, having it be one dealing with net neutrality is kind of like a bonus.
Exactly. Because if it was anything else, I'd be like, oh, that's really cool. But the fact that this one is such an important thing, I'm glad that it did blow up a little bit.
It's special.
Mm-hmm. And then Thanksgiving, Black Friday came around, had this idea for a video about Black Friday and what I ended up picking up from GameStop. And then I decided to add some Twitter jokes that I had done on Thanksgiving in with that video. And it's done okay, and I'm glad that it got more views than I thought it was going to get. And then I'm finishing up this Road to Justice League event that should have been done a month ago. And had some other cool videos come out over the last few days that haven't done too bad. So it's been a good week. It's a good week and a half.
Nice,
so I'm
productive
excited.
chunk.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how the rest of the month is going to go because I'm reviewing some Star Wars movies, and the new Star Wars movie is coming out. I've got some other big projects that I'm working on, and then 2018, I'm getting ready for that.
Yep. Yeah, 2018 is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Not only for both of our YouTube stuff, but just even this podcast in general is going to get affected by it one way or another, you know?
Yeah. Because
I feel like...
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh.
No, you...
What's cool about this podcast is the fact that you're hearing not only these big topics that everybody else talks about that we think is important, but you're hearing YouTube channels growing along. Like you're seeing our channels grow alongside the podcast. You're hearing the biggest debates that are happening in the current time about YouTube and creating stuff. And I think that's going to be really cool for us in the future to be able to look back at this and see where we were at this point, because I think we'll always be grounded in that. Oh, we were also small at one point, you know.
Exactly.
I think
it'll
that's
be a nice
super
little
important.
thing to look back on. Shoot, what was I gonna say? Oh no, no, don't forget.
Sorry.
Don't forget. Oh, I remember. For YouTubers, it's kind of like, you know how a lot of people have New Year's resolutions. You know, like this is the year I'm finally gonna get healthier. This is the year where I'm finally gonna be productive or whatever. For YouTubers, it's like, here's what I did last year, all this other stuff. How can I like 10x it next year, right?
Exactly.
So it always feels like it's opening a new chapter in a book or starting a new adventure. Like the new year is very exciting, especially when you have a year like 2017 that can feel very draining and very long and very like, oh, when is this going to end? And now we're finally at the end of it, and it's back to square one a little bit, and it's back to basics and stuff. And, you know, setting goals is also kind of fun too. So I think part of my hype for 2018 is just being like, oh, I'm going to do all this and this and this. And even if none of those things come to fruition, some of them will, and I'll be happy for that. And if I can outdo what I did in 2017, then that's even better in my opinion. So it's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah. I think one big thing that I'm super excited about in 2018 is that 2017 was such a big year for me. And in a lot of ways that I kind of forgot until I took some time recently to kind of reflect on the past year. But I've done a decent amount of growth as not only the YouTube channel, but as a creator, and just figuring out what I can and cannot do, and knowing that I can do even more if I get my time management right. So I'm excited to see how all that's going to play out in 2018 when I finally figure out other things about myself and go from there. Especially
that magical second half of the year. Where certain unknown things might come into play and really change things up.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be a lot of there's a lot of planning that's going in 2018 right now, but then there's also going to be a lot of uncertainty in the best way possible at the end of the year, and I'm excited for that as well.
The surprises are half the fun.
Exactly.
Or if you hate surprises, then I guess they're the worst. But you can't control it, so that's my outlook. Is like you can't really control what's gonna come ahead in 2018. You just kind of have to either accept the victory or deal with the loss, and if you can't really do that, then well,
Exactly.
maybe you should have picked a different thing because
Yeah. There's a
YouTube's
lot
all
of
about losing constantly with little bits of success here and there.
exactly. Exactly.
But there
But
we go.
anyways,
A nice little short segment.
short, sweet, to the point. It's been a good couple weeks, and like I said, I'm still excited for the future. But anyways, let's get right into that main topic.
Quality versus quantity. Which one's better? We gotta find out. Everybody.
Find out next time on this episode.
This debate has been going on for so long. Well, you know what? This podcast, we're gonna put an end to it right now. That's how qualified we are. We're ready
to something like that, right?
Deal with the whole thing right now in less than an hour. We're gonna fix YouTube. We're gonna fix YouTube. There we go. Maybe that should be the tagline of the episode of the series. Oh yeah,
fixing YouTube one step at a time.
That'd be wonderful. That's a perfect name,
right?
But for those who are unaware, who maybe have not heard of this debate before, can you quickly explain what is the quality versus quantity debate, at least in terms of YouTube? Because I'm sure in other platforms it's a totally different thing. But in a YouTube sense, what is quality versus quantity?
So basically, back in the day when YouTube first started, people uploaded videos of them on camera about anything and everything, and it was kind of seen as just a very nonchalant hobby. Like anything that anybody put on here was a hobby. And so quantity didn't really play a big part of the entire YouTube website at all. It was just people made videos because they wanted to. And that was part of the magic of YouTube. And then as the years came by, about 2007, 2008, certain channels began to get bigger, and then they realized we can make money off of this. And so as these channels got bigger, they started bringing more quality to their channels. They were investing in good cameras, stuff that only filmmakers or high, big photographers were doing back in the day. They started, getting better quality equipment in general. They were putting more effort into their videos. And as certain channels continued to up their quality, more people started being inspired by these people to create their own channels. And then you kind of had this entire, circle of life, per se, with YouTube. More people wanted to get into it. More people were doing really good. And they began to make more higher quality videos. Well, it got to the point where YouTube started valuing views and watch time more so than what they had in the past, right?
Right.
It was very much YouTube started going towards a quantity appreciated website. So we get to around 2012 and people are making Let's Play channels more frequently. People are making daily vlogs more frequently, reaction videos even later on. People were making videos every single day because the YouTube algorithm wanted videos every single day.
More content for its viewers to watch, to take time away from things like Netflix and the like.
Exactly. And so we ended up having this debate, and I personally heard it around 2012 as well, where as a creator, you should be focusing on one or the other, quality or quantity. More often than not, you'd hear quality is better than quantity. You'd hear you should put more time into your videos. You should make sure that they're more polished. Don't shit out videos frequently. But then as the platform has changed, as creators have changed, it's kind of up in the air about which one is better in the grand scheme of things, because you have channels like the Fine Brothers where they have a video or two videos come out every single day on their multiple channels, and they're obviously doing well with that. And then you have channels like JonTron, who's putting out a video once a month or even once every few months, and they're higher quality content. So we're at this point now where we really have to question ourselves, especially in 2017 going to 2018. What's the deal, quality or quantity?
right? Do you spend more time working on your videos and making sure that when they release, they're going to be remembered and that you're going to be proud of them and all this sort of stuff? Or are you going to go a different approach and focus on how many videos you're making, the quantity of them? Do you try to put out so much stuff that eventually one of those darts that you throw out is going to eventually hit a bullseye, right? Not all of them are going to be successful, but one of them will be. And the thing is, YouTube has preferred one of them in one era, and then sometimes will completely flip its script and go the other way. To the point now where, like, you know, you're not really sure. YouTube could change it up tomorrow and be like, yeah, we're going to be focusing more on quality, and sometimes they'll focus more on quantity. So it's tough for creators to be like, okay, well, I can't keep flip-flopping between approaches usually. It's very hard to get a balance of both. So if I'm having to pick one over the other, which one do I pick? And a lot of people would argue, if you pick one, the other one suffers. So, for example, if you pick quality, you're not going to get as many uploads. But if you pick quantity, not all those videos are going to be as good if you would just instead put more time into one. So that's sort of the issue here, and that's sort of what we're going to get into as far as, like, how each one is handled, what strategies you need to take depending on which one you pick, and ultimately deciding if one is better than the other.
Right. So I guess let's start off with, in your opinion, right off the bat, or maybe even how have you handled this in the past? What do you think is the better route to take here?
Well, it's interesting for me because I think it's different depending on where you're at in terms of YouTube, how much experience you've had, how much time you've had on the platform, where your channel is at even, and how it's growing. So if you're a young channel or a new channel just starting out, in my opinion, using a more quantity favored strategy helps you out a whole lot more because you're an unknown channel. Nobody notices you. If you spend all your time working on these videos, there's a very good chance no one is going to watch it unless you're like some master of SEO and marketing, right? So instead, why not get a bunch of videos out and then as you're doing that, improve, learn new techniques, because if you're new, chances are you're not amazing at YouTube. So you're putting out more videos, you're learning how to market, how to edit, how to film, how to do SEO, all that sort of stuff. And when that one hit does come up, you can shift your focus from there. Obviously, it's a bit different for bigger YouTubers, for people who've been around a long time. For those channels, it really does feel like quality because you have proven yourself and people come to you for a certain type of video and there's expectations that are put in place. And people are like, look, I don't want just a bunch of quick videos. I want what I came for, which in some channels' cases are these really highly produced either skits, comedy videos, news, editorials, analysis, whatever. But the point being, you have to put a lot more work into them now because there's that audience and because there's those expectations. So I think if you're a bigger channel, quality becomes a lot more important and it becomes sort of the prominent strategy. Now, I'm not saying that all smaller channels should do quantity and all bigger channels should do quality. Obviously, there's exceptions, and obviously there's scenarios where those two switch, and there even are channels that try to do a balance of both and end up succeeding. But 9 times out of 10, that's the trend I see. Smaller channels focusing on quantity to get big, and bigger channels focusing on quality to stay big.
Right. I definitely agree. And I mean, you see it all the time. A lot of bigger channels now did start off with a lot of videos. And then as they got bigger, they started making better videos. And now they're not doing as much as they used to. And it's working really well for them. And I think so for me, I absolutely agree. And I think if you're starting a channel today, quantity should be your focus. And I think it's important for more than people realize, right? Like, it's a lot of people are talking about, well, you got to make sure you're putting out quality videos, or why are you making videos at all? And then other people are saying, well, you got to put out quality because you want to be able to be seen. And I think it's, especially if you're just starting out, if this is your first, road to making videos in general, then you have to do quantity, because if you don't, then you're not going to really figure out how to make good videos in the first place.
Because you spend so much time on one project and don't do enough experiencing, learning, tasting, if you will.
Exactly.
Because you're spending all your time on one thing. And here's sort of an argument against quality that I'm going to go ahead and bring up now. Quality to many people is subjective. Depending on who's watching your videos, what one person may view as quality, the other one might not, right? If you have an audience that is happy with the current work you're putting in, then regardless of whether people think it's trash or not, you keep posting that, because the audience that has grown to watch you expects more of that, and that's what they think is quality. There's so many times I can point back to my YouTube career where, like, that video didn't look great, or, oh, the audio wasn't great there. And then have people in my comment section in Discord saying, hey, this is great. Things that I thought were such a big issue, things that I thought, oh no, the quality's horrible. To others, it's better than what they've seen. And I'm not saying, commenters are stupid or anything like that, but quality is not an objective thing, or if it is, the definition that everybody has for it seems to flip-flop depending on which channel you're talking about, what genre they're in, stuff like that.
Right. It's very much a subjective quality versus objective quality issue in terms of quality. I think, and this is the route that I like to take it, I think every single one of my videos that I put out should have some kind of quality to them, and it should be quality in the subjective sense, right? This video brings value some way, in one way or another. My video quality isn't going to be that great because I don't have a good 4K camera. My audio quality is only going to be as good as the day that it's recorded and the environment that it's recorded. And it's not a great mic anyways. So I know it's not going to be, as good as I would like it to be. But at the end of the day, I do feel like that every single one of my videos brings some kind of value, whether that's entertainment, education, or any other kind of value that I can bring to a video that I just haven't thought of yet. And that's why I do focus more on quantity, because I feel like I've gotten to the point now where I've made enough videos to where I can pump out at least decent videos in terms of quality, fairly decent, fairly well. And that's why I like to say, especially as you're starting out, quantity is such a big thing, because I can tell you right now, my first 100 videos, they're nowhere on the internet anymore because I deleted them because I didn't like them that much.
Right.
But they're the worst, like some of the very worst videos that I've ever seen. And it's amazing to me how far I've gone after those 100 videos. And even in the past year, the amount of videos that I've made this year, I've continued to get better at making quality videos. It just took me to actually take the time into making a lot of videos before I could really figure out what my quality video is.
You had to know your process before you could improve it, right?
Exactly.
And a lot of people just starting out don't make enough videos to understand their process. So they don't know how to improve it. So they try so many different things, wondering what's wrong or what's right. When in actuality is, you'll get better by doing, and you'll get better by learning. And I think that's where the quantity approach is at its best, is when you're posting a lot of videos, sure, and you're getting a lot of stuff out there, but you're gradually improving. You're learning that process. You're learning how to make things better. You do so many things over and over and over and over and over again, you're going to, realize the good and the bad from it eventually. Regardless of how thick-headed you might be, eventually you'll be like, you know what, my webcam really isn't that good, or you know what, my commentary isn't really that great. Maybe I can improve it by getting a better webcam, being a better commentator, maybe adding lighting to the mix. As you continue to do this, you'll improve and get better, right? The goal with the quantity strategy, as I'm calling it, is not to just put in no effort and then pump out the same shit for like years and years and years without improving, right? Obviously, you're not using the strength of the quantity approach. You have to still try and you have to still improve. I feel like quantity gets the bad rap of being like, oh, then it's just a number game and you don't have to try at all. No, you still have to try and you still have to put in effort, just not quote unquote as much effort as, let's say, the guy working on a video for like a month, right? You know.
Exactly. It's very much a strategy that has to be used with the right intent. You have to intend to get better at making videos. That's why you're pumping out more videos. It's between intending to get better and intending to try to grow your channel. Because here's the thing, a little amazing thing happens when you've started making more videos. You start growing faster than you ever have grown before. It's incredible, because in 2016 alone, through experience, I've made almost 600 videos, which is insane, by the way. I'm not saying to do 600 videos in a year unless you can do it. But in that year, I've also gained almost 200 subscribers on one channel and then 80 subscribers on another channel. So
I mean, results don't lie.
Exactly. So it worked. And it worked in ways that I didn't think it was going to quite work. I just knew that coming into 2017, I wanted to be able to make more videos, because in the past, when I was putting out more videos, especially the very beginning, I think my first year or so, probably even the first like 6 months, I think I grew to about 60, 80 subscribers within that time just for putting out videos. And again, these were shitty videos. The first 100 videos were not good, but people still watch them and they still subscribe to me, even though they weren't good. And I don't know why. Maybe they saw potential. Maybe it was because of the way that I ran the community that was around it. Maybe, it could be literally a number of things, right? But at the end of the day, I do think that by me pumping out more videos, and I say pumping out, but I continued every single video I made. I was like, how can I try this to make this commentary better? Or how can the editing be better in this one? Even in the midst of series, whether it be a Let's Play series or my recapping series, like every single video that I've made, I've always tried to do just like this one small thing better. And it's worked.
It's got to be gradual,
Absolutely.
I think people often wonder, like, oh, how do I grow? And when they hear the term grow, they mean, how do I grow more subscribers and more views? I think there's a perception around that growth comes from numbers. And I think on YouTube, it's not true at all. Where actual growth comes from is from yourself, right? When you finally post so many videos and understand your process, it allows you to reflect, to improve, and then to adapt for all the new changes that come around. That's where a lot of this YouTube growth comes from. It's not like if you just have bad equipment and you post bad videos, suddenly when you hit 200 subscribers, it's all going to magically be better, right? The bad quality isn't going to change regardless of how many numbers are attached to it. What actually gets that growth, what actually gets that change, what actually gets the adapting and the improving is from yourself, is by putting in that work. It is by understanding your process and how to improve from it. So yeah, I mean, like, most of my growth comes from periods of quote unquote YouTube inactivity where I'm not even posting stuff at all. And I'm having a chance to look back on what I've done and realized, oh, well, this is something that I can improve. Let me go ahead and do that, right? I didn't have the quote-unquote motivation to do it from a number going up, or I didn't have the quote-unquote motivation to do it to get more views. It was a very personal thing, and it was very much almost a pride thing. to be like, I know I can do better. You know, I've set myself to such a high standard. Why not try and improve that way? But you know what? I never would have came to that introspective moment had I not put out so many videos that I thought at the time were good, and then ended up realizing, oh, well, they really weren't. But
Right.
you have to go through that process. You know what I'm saying? You have to shovel through crap until you finally reach the gold or the light at the end of the tunnel.
Right. And you know, the light at the end of the tunnel, it may not even ever come. You know why? Because it's a constant, you know, I don't want to use the word struggle because I don't think it's a struggle, and I actually very much enjoy the process. It's very much just a constant, always growing, always getting better. And one day, I think for Aden, for myself, for anybody that you know continues to work hard at what YouTube is, I think there's going to be a day where we go on to do something bigger and better and be like, okay, well now we have to improve at this. Mm-hmm. And that's just going to be, you know, our life. It's always about constantly growing, constantly learning new things that can help us in what we want to do.
Because we're not satisfied.
Exactly. Exactly. And a lot of people, that's exactly what it is. A lot of people get satisfied at numbers. They see, oh, I've gotten 100 subscribers. When will I get 1,000? I've gotten 1,000. When will I get 100,000? And that amount of not being satisfied is unhealthy because it's something you can't control.
Right.
But when it's, oh, I'm unsatisfied at the way the audio sound in this video, look up some YouTube tutorials, get a better microphone at some point, and then you're going to be satisfied.
Because it's something you can actually solve and actually improve.
Exactly. And then when it comes to editing, well, how can I edit stuff better? You're gonna feel satisfied continuously because you're always learning something that's gonna make it better. And while it's something that you're gonna continue to improve on, as long as you continue editing videos, like you're gonna always feel satisfied at it, and that's pretty cool.
That comes from within. It doesn't come from an outside force, and it doesn't come from a certain fame or popularity, right? If you don't have the will and the desire to do it, then you don't. But if you want to improve and have a natural desire to improve, then you will. But that's the quantity approach. It's just putting out enough videos to learn and improve, gather your process, improve upon it. That's basically it. Let's go ahead and switch gears now and talk about the other side of the coin. Quality. Let's talk about quality and what strategy people need to take to truly master the quality side of things. If that's where their focus is.
Right. It's hard because I'm so much into the quantity side of things now.
Oh yeah.
But I think I used to be. So I used to follow the whole quality thing. After I realized that the videos I were putting out weren't that good and I took some reflection, I was looking into, well, how can I make my videos better? And how can they, back in the day, I was like, how can I follow this whole quality approach that everybody else keeps talking about? And a lot of that, if quality is your goal, and that's the approach you want to take without making a lot of videos, right? Mm-hmm. Then I think what you need to do is kind of step back, look at YouTube and be like, I don't expect to grow at this thing for a while.
Sure.
I think that's number one, honestly. And that sounds kind of crazy. You're like, well, that kind of sucks. Why would you say that about, you know, this channel or about my channel and how I won't be able to grow? I'm not saying you won't be able to grow. There's still possibilities. You could still hit that viral video and then you'll grow. I just think it's so important for you to have that expectation right off the bat so that you won't think, oh, I'm doing poorly, and quality is your number one goal at this.
Sure. The expectation should be, oh, I'm going to get so much better at this by me putting in that time. The expectation is not, I'm going to be rewarded for it, right?
Exactly.
There's no leprechaun pot there. I think a big thing, if you're focusing on strategy, is to get really good during the time when you're not working on your video. And what do I mean by that? You want to be marketing anytime you're working on your video. You want to be hyping people up You want to be sharing things. You want to be doing everything you can when you're not working on your big piece, because it can be kind of hard to keep momentum when you don't have videos coming out every single day or every single week, and you're taking a month to make a video. Well, you can take that month and you can make that video, but one, make sure it's worth the wait and the time.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, be sure everybody else knows about it before you release it in one way or another. And there's plenty of different ways to build hype, and there's plenty of different ways to market it. But what I'm saying is, if you're following the quality approach, you need to get really good at time management, especially when you're outside of the creative process.
Mm-hmm. I'd also say get better faster. Or not even that, fail faster. Fail faster. This is one of the biggest things that I've heard. I heard it from, oh man, what's the YouTube channel? He talks about game development. He speeds up his voice. Extra credits. He made an entire video about a great channel. Made a video about indie developers and people just getting into video, into game design and all that kind of stuff. And the big takeaway that I took from that video was fail faster. And it's so important, because the faster you fail, the faster you're going to learn what doesn't work. And then the faster you're going to get better. And the faster you get better, the faster you're going to make better videos. And then those quality videos can be put out a little bit quicker. But then if you're still just worried about the quality, then during that time that, like Aden said, that you're not uploading the videos, you are finding out better ways to share your videos, like you said, in marketing. Because if you want to grow and you want to have any kind of, and you want your videos to be seen, which is, I don't know about you, but as a creator, we always want our stuff to be seen. Then you've got to make sure that that's also a big focus, because you can make Marvel cinematic masterpieces. You can make, the next Disney animated film, but if you are not putting it in a place for people to see, then it's not going to go anywhere.
Right. You can't have an ego about it, I think, especially when you're doing the quality route. And it's same for quantity, but really, especially for quality. You cannot have a big head about how great you think your video is, especially when it might turn out and not perform well, and especially when you're starting out and your version of my best video ever might just be average, or even in some cases bad to the general YouTube public. And that's okay, because you're going to improve and you're going to get better. And the second month's video is just going to be like 2 times as good, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But like Zach said, if you're doing the creative route, you have to fail faster, because of the fact that you're not putting out 8 videos a week and taking a little bit longer to sort of learn that process and improve. You kind of have to catch up a little bit in terms of time. So I like the idea of failing faster to sort of catch up to all those people who are doing the quantity game, who may take a little bit longer to know how to improve, because they're still posting out all these videos. I really do think if you're in the quality game, anytime you're not working on that video, should be time management. And then probably number 2, self-improvement, is learning how to make the next video even better while you're working on video 1. Like that meta, right?
Agreed.
You are already done so much research and so much knowledge, and sure, you may not be proud of that first video, but you move on right away. You have all the knowledge from the first one, and you go ahead. The cool thing about the quality strategy, and one of the benefits of it, is you get to reflect a lot quicker and probably a lot easier than I would say the quantity route gets to go. Because instead of having to look at 10 or 12 or 20 videos and being like, what was good here, what was bad, you have one video. You have one project. What did you learn from it? What did you do good? What did you do bad? How can you improve next time? You get to reflect almost immediately after it's out. And it allows you to sort of do better the next time, right? So
definitely.
Yeah, fail faster is something I can agree with. I think on both edges, but quality especially.
Definitely. The next thing I'd say is to learn as much as you can about SEO.
Yeah.
Because the the more you learn about SEO, the less videos you can make. And obviously, if you're going the quantity route, I'd say also learn SEO because that's important. But if you're trying to make the best video you can possibly make and you want it to be seen, if you can get that SEO going, depending on the video, you could get a lot of growth really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that'll definitely help at the end of the day.
I think a lot of people who might listen to this are being like, could come out with the reaction of being like, wow, that's a lot more stuff, all right? That's a lot more difficult than the quantity strategy. You guys are making it sound like quality is not the strategy to go. It's a great strategy, and it's one that I'd recommend a lot of people taking. Some people think that they're good at quantity when really they should be working on that master work because they just literally have so much talent.
Mm-hmm.
What we're saying is that quality is a lot harder to achieve than quantity because of the things we mentioned before, because of the fact that it's subjective, because of the fact that it's a lot harder to get your stuff out there, because of the fact you might not see results immediately. Quality is a lot harder to achieve than quantity. Making your videos better is a lot harder than just uploading again. But I think something about the quality strategy that sort of has an advantage over quantity as a whole is that it can feel a lot more rewarding.
Oh, for sure.
When it finally pays off. Because you simply put a lot more effort and a lot more work, and you've had to deal with a lot more hardships, I feel, than the quantity route goes. Is the quality route right for everyone? No, obviously not. I feel like a lot of people, could probably go one way or the other, and there's those few individuals that can really do both. But there's benefits and there's weaknesses to both, and I want you guys to keep that in mind when you hear like, oh, quality sounds like a rough route. It can be, but it can also be very fun, and it can also be very rewarding as well.
Agreed. I think the other thing is, when it comes to quality, make sure you're focusing mostly on subjective quality, which means you're putting the most amount of work into your writing, your scripting, the way that you're portrayed on screen. It depends on what type of video it is. It really does. But make sure you're trying to bring the most value to the person that's watching that video and not worrying about the best camera or the best audio equipment or the best editing software, because you're going to get really discouraged if you just spent $2,000 on equipment before you made your first video and then realize I can't make videos.
Exactly.
And that sounds bad, but it's happened to people. And
it's pitfall.
It is. It really is. So, I mean, that's just super important.
Oh yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. But that's pretty much all I have in terms of quality stuff. Obviously, that one's a little bit tougher to tackle, simply because I feel like me and Zach are more leaning toward quantity. But a lot of that has to do based on the position we're at. I mean, I'm only a year and a half old on this channel. Obviously, I've done a lot more before Blue Couch Productions, but I'm only a year and a half old on this channel. Zach's been doing this for 6 years. But I think we both still consider our channels young. I still think we consider our YouTube quote-unquote careers as being young.
Oh, definitely.
And like I said earlier, if you're in that young mindset, if you're in that just starting out mindset, you kind of do lean a little bit more toward quantity. I'm not going to lie. So we're not favoriting one or the other. I mean, obviously there's benefits to both. But based on the position that me and Zach are in, we definitely sort of lean a little bit more on the quantity edge. But hey, there ain't nothing wrong with that.
For sure. I want to give I guess because I think we're pretty much good with the topic. Am I right?
We're there. We're there.
Yeah. I want to go ahead and give just a little bit of advice for anybody that's just starting YouTube, because I don't want you to think, oh, I'm taking a quantity route, which means that I need to make 27 videos a week and it's going to be really time consuming and I have no idea how I'm going to sleep. I also don't want you to think I'm going to take the quality route and I'm going to spend, the next 120 hours a week on a video just to get it as polished as possible, and I'm not going to get any sleep. I really think that your goal should be to consistently strive to do both. And that sounds weird, and I know we're talking about each of the strategies, but I think the way you win on today's YouTube, because of quote-unquote oversaturation, because of quote-unquote there's already a lot of big YouTubers, the way you win on today's YouTube is by consistently growing, as we've mentioned,
right,
making better videos, eventually getting better equipment, but that's not important right at the beginning. Just consistently making better videos, and then consistently putting those videos out more frequently. So if 1 video a day is too much, strive for 3 videos a day. Make that, I mean, not 3, not 3 videos a day. Strive for 3 videos a week.
Right.
Make that your goal. Or even if it, depending on the video, strive for 1 video a week. Especially if you're in quality, in quality world, strive for 1 to 2 videos a month. And I promise you, as the more videos you make, the more you learn your processes and get better at those, continue to make those goals just a little bit bigger. If you're doing 1 video a month, in 6 months, pull that to 2 videos a month. And another 6 months, pull that to 4 videos a month. Continue to try to get better at your craft, because when it comes down to it, it's not how many good videos can I get out more frequently. It's how fast and good are my editing skills? Or how good is my time management skills? How much time am I spending aimlessly on Facebook not contributing to my videos? How many keyboard shortcuts do I know in Adobe Premiere that's going to make this faster? It's all these little small things. And the more of those things you get better at, the faster your editing is going to get, the better your editing is going to get. And the more your channel is just going to grow.
All the little pieces add up to a bigger picture overall. I think ultimately, to quote unquote, settle the debate, quality versus quantity, which one's better, it's entirely personal. Right? I think that's the punchline here. If you're in a situation where you prefer quality, then by all means, you go for it and you push that way. If you're in a different situation where you can't exactly make these really highly produced videos, but you can make a lot of them, then hey, go for it. Is it a thing where you have to only stay in one camp all the time? No, not at all. Like Zach mentioned, it can be good to sort of mix and match both and even swap sides occasionally. Maybe you do quantity for a good year or so and you sit back and you're like, yeah, I kind of just want to get better at 1 video at a time. Then by all means switch. You don't have to stay on one track the entire time. It's very much personal, and it's very much a thing that each of us come to our own decisions on, right? Just because I'm in a quantity state now doesn't mean in the next month I'm going to be like, hey, I just really want to work on 1 video but do it really, really well. That can happen. And it wouldn't be bad and it wouldn't be the worst. I just have to put it in my head that because I'm going this route, that I need to know the strengths, the benefits, the weaknesses, and the downfalls of that strategy. That's what this podcast is about, is like, sure, you can pick quality or quantity or whatever you want, but be sure that no matter what angle you're doing or what side you're doing, number 1, it's personal, and number 2, know the strengths and the weaknesses of both strategies, and come to your own conclusions and mix and match and just have a fun time overall.
Right. 100%. I mean, at the end of the day, it's, you're the one going to sleep after making videos, and you're the one that's got to be happy with those videos.
Right.
So it's
nothing we can say can change that. Right.
It's so much more about self-awareness than it is anything else. And when it comes to growing your channel or getting more views or, making better videos, like
being proud of your videos, being proud of yourself.
Like, it's about self-awareness, and the market, the people that watch your videos, as long as you make good shit, people are going to watch them.
Right.
Like, people will find you eventually. So
the viewer does not care about what strategy you pick so long as you're providing them content.
Exactly.
So long as you're providing people what they came for, whether you're doing long-form quality or a lot of videos, quantity-wise, they'll ultimately just be happy with what you provide and what you do, because we mentioned this 1,000 times. Ultimately, if you're doing this right, they're going to care more about you and not just the videos or the platform or
Right.
the other 18 million little detail building blocks that we'll probably get into, whether that's the algorithm or something else entirely. Who knows?
Hmm. But yeah. I mean, I think it's, yeah. I still say do both.
Do both if you can. If you're a wizard,
yeah.
if you're a wizard and you've mastered both and you're able to like put out really good shit like once every week would be ideal, I think. Once every week, you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. That'd be great.
Right. I think at minimum, like once every week would be kind of cool. I know some people can only do one a month, and that's cool. But you want to improve. I think that's an interesting thing with both strategies, that you want to constantly be improving, right?
Right. But improvement is so much important.
It's the key to both. It's the key to both. It's just how they go about doing it is different, and that's why I say it's so much of a personal thing, because improvement, that growth, all that sort of stuff. It's in yourself.
Self-reflection, like that's super important. Sure. Spend like 30 minutes every week just like doing some self-reflection and thinking about things and figuring out like what you're doing good and what you're not doing so good, and whether you're uploading a video every single day or a video every single month. Like spend a little time every week just kind of seeing what you've done better at and what you need to do better at.
That's a good bonus life tip thrown in here.
At literally everything. Exactly.
All right. A little self-reflection goes a long way.
Agreed. But yeah.
Crushed it. You ended the debate. It's over.
It's over.
We're done, YouTube. We figured it out. I'll take my Nobel Peace Prize now. Just deliver it straight to my door.
That's like one of the biggest debates done. Like that.
I mean, what were people even talking
Nobel Peace Prize?
We figured it out. Exactly. What's the big deal?
The Middle Eastern debate, quality versus quantity.
That's the big one. I mean, we are called the hottest YouTube podcast for a reason. It's for moments like this. Come together and figure things out.
Exactly.
Shout out if you know that callback.
Yeah. For real.
Yeah.
You ready to get into that those comments?
That sweet comment section. Now I know you read some of them last time. So I want to read a couple.
All right.
Just a couple here. Which group we starting with here?
Let's start with why community management is so important.
Episode 7.
Episode 7.
Probably one of my favorite episodes all around. Not gonna lie, it's pretty good. Alrighty. Let's see. We got a comment here. One comment from the patient,
which equals to about 3 comments.
Pretty much in actuality. Looks like she got 2 likes. One of them's from me, and Zach hearted it, as well as a
2-paragraph reply.
But I'm going to go ahead and read this here. If anyone needs a marketer, HMU, I can do that shit easy. And you don't got to thank me for all those things. I enjoy them, and I want to do them to help and do what I can. But thank you, babe. And then there's like little cat face hearts. I don't understand that one in particular. I'm not internet aware.
I'm not either, but it's all good.
Just one thing I want to hit on is Discord's being available through Patreon. I think one of the better things about a Patreon server over a public server is that very large public Discords get very hectic and very disorganized. So actual communication through them can be quite difficult because of how many people are talking at once. And it can become like a stream chat. I also think, and in parentheses, she says might be wrong, that there's a member limit on servers which is somewhere around 20,000 to 30,000 members. So there's also technical reasoning. Those very large public servers do go offline and have technical issues more often than the smaller private ones. It does also give an incentive for people to actually donate, which can kind of be seen in both a positive and a negative light, depending on your point of view. And then in parentheses, although I personally struggle to see the negative side. But there you go.
Okay.
Thanks, patient. Thank you for the comment, as always.
Yeah, it's a great comment. Just to like mention what she's talking about, last episode we were talking about how Discord is a great place for you to bring people together on your YouTube channel for a community. And we mentioned how some of the bigger YouTubers are making Patreon, a private Patreon server as part of one of their Patreon rewards. So if you donate $5 a month or donate $1 a month, you get to be part of the private Discord. Whereas channels like mine and Aden's, we just have it open for anybody and everybody to join.
Yep.
But yeah.
Comes with its benefits and doubts. I agree with a lot of what Patient said there. I hadn't really thought about like the technical limitations.
I hadn't either. That was really
because like I don't imagine myself reaching 20 to 30,000 people on my own Discord server. I'm like, that'll never happen. We're good. Problem solved.
I do wonder if, like, as we get bigger, though, one day, if we'll make our Discord more private. You know, just depending on how many people are in there and whether it gets too crowded to talk and all that kind of stuff. I'm curious.
We haven't reached that point yet at all, in case you couldn't tell. But
don't have to worry about that today, so I'm not even going to really think about it today.
That's something we'll keep in the back of our heads. You never know.
Yeah, for sure.
Might come up later on. But interesting thoughts. Thank you very much, Patient, for the comment. But that ain't the only place we got comments.
No.
We got like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Little VidMe shuts down Extrasode. Extrasodes always seem to do well in the comments. I don't know. Yeah. BitChute may have had a good part in both of those.
BitChute had a little bit to do with it, and then just trending topics.
Right.
Is that why we do extrasodes? Maybe they're not as 3.5 hours long.
Right. That might have a little bit to do, just a tiny bit. But we got a lot of comments from the VidMe one. I want to read some of them if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, go for it.
The first one is from our boy Dark Kirby 14.
Yeah.
Who says VidMe wasn't stable enough and was riddled with bugs. I can't deny or confirm that because I was not on VidMe for a long enough time to truly experience it. I very much put videos on there, but I wasn't exactly a viewer per se, so I don't know if their video player or anything like that was a mess. Although if it was, that would explain a lot, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't spend a whole lot of time on there viewing anything just because everybody who's on YouTube. The whole elephant in the room. But it seemed to have, they seem to have some issues every once in a while with certain things. I don't think it was completely not stable. I think that it definitely had a lot of potential in the long run. But if bugs were a big issue, then that is probably one of the reasons why they shut down. Though they kind of mentioned exactly why they shut down, and it was solid enough reasons where it's they wouldn't lie about that.
Right, you think they would have mentioned that one of being our video player wasn't the best, or maybe that was a pride thing. Maybe they're no, we're not gonna. Who knows? But I don't know. I agree with you. I felt like it was a very honest little reason for why they shut down, and it kind of seems bizarre that they didn't mention it. Then again, though, I wasn't a viewer on VidMe, so I can't disprove prove this guy. So thank you for the comment, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Next up is by Joey Matt, who says, I hadn't been a member of VidMe all that long, but still think it's a shame it's not going to be around no more. Sad face. Sure, they made mistakes along the way, but I still thought it looked pretty promising. And I agree. It was very promising. Yeah.
Yeah. I've talked to... Oh, go ahead.
What a level-headed comment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I've talked to a couple of bigger people. One of them being Roberto Blake recently about it. And he kind of saw that VidMe was gonna fall early on just because they marketed themselves as a competitor to YouTube, and because YouTube is so big, and because there's no foreseeable downfall of YouTube, even with all the problems that YouTube has, YouTube's still going to be pretty big for a while. He thought that the fact that they marketed themselves as a YouTube competitor wasn't particularly smart. And I agree with that. That's fair. Because every other marketed as a YouTube competitor has fell. But I did think that everything else that they did in terms of trying to promise a free speech platform and trying to make sure that creators got what they deserved, it was pretty promising and it looked good. And I like the way VidMe handled pretty much everything that they were able to do.
Right. I mean, they
So yeah.
did steal information. It looked pretty polished for the most part, especially compared to BitChute. Uploading
Yeah.
videos, pretty easy. All you had to do was post a link. It made uploading videos fairly easy. But then
Yeah.
again, like I think ultimately YouTube is gonna kill itself before another competitor does, right?
Yeah.
In the scenario that I picture YouTube going down, it's gonna be something that YouTube does, right? It's not gonna be like BitChute's gonna get so powerful that it's gonna overthrow it. It's gonna be like, oh, we hit the nuke the site button, darn, or
Yeah.
they screw up so badly that they're like, yeah, they're not coming back.
Exactly. And again, it's very hard for me to see that in the foreseeable future because, like, going into 2018, YouTube is going to be like, it's going to overthrow Google as the #1 search engine. Did you know that?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's that big. As much as it's kind of not doing so much for the creators right now, in the grand scheme of things, they're not really going anywhere soon. So
Maybe next year they'll make a profit. Maybe
yeah, that'd be cool.
Maybe that'll be a change.
Yeah.
But thanks, Joey.
Yeah,
Your boy
for
has
sure.
700 subscribers. You notice that?
I saw that. Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
got some good gameplay stuff going over there. I plan on checking out a little bit more.
Hey, I see you. All right, next up is a comment by I'm Liney Damps with the Z. That's how you know he hip.
Hell yeah.
Who comments, that's why I stuck with YouTube. And I want to read this comment chain because that kind of ping-pongs back and forth with this man.
Yeah.
I'm going to read the back and forth. Zach replies, you made a good decision. And then Damps replies, of course, yes, I sure did. But I've tried VidMe and it's not as good as YouTube. And I did come across with harassment videos and all that on there. Zach replies, that makes sense. They wanted to have a lot of free speech implemented, so I can see that. I think VidMe had some good things going for it, but at the end of the day, they still had a lot to learn. Damps responds, yeah, just like I said, I'm glad I've turned away from VidMe now. And I've admit it, I'm not lying. I was going to scrap my YouTube channel to move over to VidMe, so I thought I'll keep my YouTube channel just in case. Well, jeez. Can you imagine?
Yeah. He would have had a completely different comment.
Yeah. YouTube is always going to be the biggest platform. Zach replies, YouTube will always be the bigger platform, but I do think the alternatives are good and healthy as a creator. Plus, let's be honest, everyone uses YouTube, so if you gain followers from other platforms, like VidMe, they'll probably move over to YouTube for you as well. But a nice little discussion going there. What were your takeaways from it? What were your takeaways from our good boy Damps?
I thought it was interesting that he mentioned harassment videos. I thought that was super interesting because, like I said in the comment chain, that they have a lot of free speech implemented. It kind of makes sense. It's like BitChute, they're still so small that they have that kind of stuff on the front page,
Right.
Which is probably turning away a lot of people. But it makes sense why that can turn away people.
Right.
You know, if there's something you don't agree with, you probably don't want to stick around there too long. But I didn't see it as much, and I guess I just didn't look in the right places for it. But that was interesting to me.
Sure. I mean, on the one hand, like, BitChute definitely does have an image problem.
Yeah.
Right. Like, if this stuff continues and they get to be a big enough state, you think YouTube's having advertiser issues? Well, BitChute's got a whole other thing coming for it, right?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, that kind of is the image they want. I mean, obviously, BitChute keeps retweeting a lot of that. They keep trying to pipe it up. They're like, hey, YouTube doesn't do this. So at the same time, they got kind of like a little bad boy angle going on, you know?
Yeah.
This ain't your grandma's video platform site. This is where all the hip freedom fighters go to post videos, you know? And apparently VidMe had a little bit of that image problem too, if what Damp's saying is true here. And if that's the case, it really doesn't work for a brand like VidMe, just because like they really didn't market that whole free speech side. Or if they did, it was too late.
They didn't market it a lot.
Right.
They kind of mentioned it here and there. It's like, well, we promote free speech. It was one of the reasons they created it was because, the family friendly stuff was coming around on YouTube. This is like late 2014. So not too long ago, but still, Like they were wanting a creators only, a creators first platform, not advertisers first platform. What they
Exactly.
forgot to exactly, but what they forgot to like realize was, oh, in order to get advertisers involved, we're gonna have a problem, and
Fair
that's what
enough.
ended up killing them at the end of the day.
Yeah. But thank you for the little comment chain, Damps.
Yeah,
Appreciate
for
that.
sure.
And then last but not least, we have one more comment by, I'm going to say Eplix Pro. There's no I, it's just EPLX Pro.
Hmm.
So he left a comment, or she, I don't know,
Hmm.
not shaming. Well, if you think about it, you have hundreds and hundreds of videos that are just uploaded from YouTube, then I don't see how they could keep its bandwidth. And then you reply with, that was the biggest reason they couldn't keep up with the overhead. Add those enormous costs with advertisers not being able to come into play, and they were basically doomed. Which we kind of touched on in the extra sode
Right. That's
a
when I
good
went ahead
bit,
and commented it back.
right?
Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot of bandwidth.
It's not a problem I can up and solve. This isn't like the quality quantity thing. This one's a little bit tougher.
Mm. And I forgot to mention it in that episode, but it's one of the reasons that BitChute is able to run the way it's running because it does the peer-to-peer thing. It does the exact same that torrents do when downloading things, so it doesn't have to keep anything on their website.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting in the long term there because they're probably going to stay around a lot longer than you know VidMe did.
So the overall vibe I get from this comment section.
Oh, we have one more.
Oh, really? I had all of them. I
Oh
thought.
no, that was all of them. Sorry. I got another comment from another video earlier. I thought it was the same one.
No, I
My
think I got
bad.
them.
Yeah, you got
But
all of them.
the overall vibe I got from this comment section is that apparently we were very unaware of where VidMe was heading. If this
Hmm.
comment section is truthful, then we are led to believe that this was something that a lot of people saw coming for a while now. That's
Yeah.
that's the vibe I get from this comment section. Is like, oh yeah, they went down from this, or oh yeah, that wasn't too surprising, or oh yeah, that's why I stuck with YouTube. Like I feel either a lot of people saw it coming, or they're trying to humble brag and be like, yeah, I knew that, and then really didn't.
Well, I've seen some people do that. It's very weird. They're humble bragging about it, but then I've also seen like some people on Facebook that I've been talking to about it and some comment sections that, yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, it just makes a lot of sense. I'm still very curious to see what they're planning on doing next.
Exactly.
Think
I mean,
that's going to be
I think it just
kicker.
comes down to is like we weren't on VidMe enough, at least not as a viewer, and didn't really see a whole lot of the creator. I mean, we saw the opportunities, but really didn't have a ton of
Hmm.
time to take advantage of them. Partially because YouTube was taking our focus in one form or another.
Right. And
So
maybe in some self-reflection, maybe we should have spent a little bit more time on it. Obviously, it wouldn't have helped us in the terms of VidMe,
right,
but maybe the next platforms that we look at, BitChute being one of them, maybe we need to spend a little more time as a viewer on there, see what people like, see what people are into, so that we can kind of figure out how to be more successful on those platforms.
yeah, I think my eye is definitely glued on to BitChute right now. I think it really
Hmm.
is. I'm interested to see where they go. I'm interested to see how they respond, if they're even going to change anything at all. If they're going to try to capitalize, and how BitChute grows, just because it's so early and so young. But I think
Hmm.
right now it is quote unquote the competitor at the moment. Aside from the obvious ones that we've been mentioning, like Facebook, Twitch, other social medias.
Right.
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 Those are obviously the big competitors, but in terms of video platform sites per se, BitChute's kind of the holdout right now.
Do you think we're going to see any more, not even competitors, but video platforms come to play in the next couple of years? You think anybody else is going to try to take a stab at it?
You gotta wonder if like this trend of video platform sites shutting down, if VidMe doesn't become an anomaly and that just sort of becomes the trend, if all
Hmm.
these big companies and all these people funding projects like this are going to realize that it's just something that isn't profitable. And YouTube has taken up so much of the space that nobody
Right.
even bothers attempting it anymore. And it's just going to be
Hmm.
like, all right, you either get your video on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or you come up with a new social media app altogether, right? I think the
Right.
idea of a quote unquote video platform site might be dying a little bit. Uh,
Okay.
and if VidMe is just the anomaly and it's just a random thing that happened, then fine. Okay, prove me wrong. But
Of
like, if
course.
this continues to become a trend and we keep seeing more and more people fail, and it becomes a little bit harder year after year to compete with YouTube, at least on a quote unquote video platform level, I
Hmm.
think the best chance anybody has at competing with YouTube is not by copying them, but by doing something different, right?
Of course.
By doing something like live streaming, by doing something like having a Facebook community behind it, right? The days of just building a VidMe and a BitChute where you can just host videos isn't enough anymore. It might have been in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, but I think we're just too far in, and I don't think there's enough demand for it at this certain point. Maybe a controversial thing to say, I don't know, but those are my thoughts at the moment.
I think that's interesting because when you look at Twitch, that started as live streaming, now they're allowing you to upload their videos, your videos on there as well. When you look at Facebook, that started out with social media, and now you're able to put videos on it. And then you even look at YouTube. It started out with just videos, but now you can live stream. Now they've got community bars for people with 10,000 subscribers or more. They're
Mm-hmm.
continually, one upping the things you can do on YouTube as well. The fact that there's not as much demand for another video platform is very interesting.
All right.
But then I'm also wondering, are we gonna have somebody come out of nowhere and look at what VidMe did, look at what other failed platforms have done, and be like, okay, well, we can learn from their mistakes and do better. I wonder if that might happen.
I think there has to be a new angle attached to it. I think it
Mm,
has to be something that YouTube hasn't tried yet, something that they can market as an advantage, something
right.
different from just being able to post videos. Because again, I think the idea of just a video platform site in and of itself just isn't enough. I think a great thing might be like, what if a video platform site focusing on VR comes out and they make it really easy to upload like VR videos and that becomes a trend? Wouldn't that
Mm,
be cool? I mean, we have
yeah.
companies dipping into the idea, but no one's gone full fledged into it. That would be kind of a unique
True.
angle, you know?
Mm,
BitChute's obviously trying to stand out from the crowd by being the free speech one, right? Like, there has to
mm,
be an angle to it, I think. Um, which may be a sad thing, but like, I was just listening to the H3 podcast before we started this, and it had JonTron on this episode and H3 Productions, two kind of big guys that have been doing it for a little while.
mm,
And, they get all these complaints. They're like, oh, if you're so mad about YouTube, why don't you just go out and build another one? You know?
yeah.
If all these content creators were so tired with YouTube, why don't they just leave? But we've seen they don't leave, right? And the analogy that JonTron used to describe it, I thought was very interesting. You know, if you hate the highway, you can't just go build a road. YouTube has gotten to the point now where it's a utility. It's not just a video site anymore. It's something that's necessary. That's part of the path to growth, right? You can't tear up the highway. You can try something
Right.
different, but you can't beat YouTube at being the road. you know, you can't. I don't know. It's a utility
It's
at this point. It's tough.
I agree. I mean, definitely it comes down to the fact that like if creators leave, more creators will come.
Mm-hmm.
If the audience leaves, then that's when going to another platform is more a viable option.
Right.
Audience is still there. Like they're still going to YouTube every single day. If not even more people are going to YouTube every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, why would creators automatically just get up and leave? They're not going to get the same audience anywhere else.
Right. I mean, we've seen people try it time and time again. They host their own
Mm-hmm.
websites. They get a VidMe deal. They try Blip. Blip was a thing.
It was a
They
thing.
tried doing Vimeo. They tried doing Dailymotion, and time again, we see that either doesn't pan out or that they still have to focus a good bit of their time and attention on YouTube in order to stay relevant. right?
Exactly.
Even when you're trying to be anti-YouTube, you still have to use YouTube in order to do it. You still have to use the platform that you hate day in and day out, just so you can even make a possibility of living outside of it. I think it's gotten to that point where, it's too big for its own good. I think YouTube can potentially be overthrown. I think there can be some stuff done to change. I think they're already, working on changes. There are already people trying to mess with the whole demonetization crisis. There's already people trying to crack down on ElsaGate. There's people trying to find out, like, how can we make it a better experience to be a YouTuber? And there's places like Twitch that are making it better just for everybody involved, right? Like, but it's going to get tougher and tougher as time has gone on. And, when you don't have the funding of a big-ass corporation like Google, you really do have to stand out if you hope to compete. And I don't think they did that enough to stand out, kind of tying it back in here.
Agreed. I agree. But yeah.
Bit of a tangent, though.
Bit of a tangent, but I think it's good stuff.
Right.
Thank you, everybody, for the comments. You guys are awesome.
You guys are
Glad
great.
to see more people listening and everything. But
if you want to leave a comment responding to our little back and forth debate, if you want to know, like, hey, I think quality is better, I think quantity is better, let us know down in the comments below. Also, if you want to comment on our little tangent there, how does a website compete with YouTube? I want to know how would it be possible to compete with something as gigantic as YouTube? I would love to hear your thoughts, because after all, like Zach said, the viewers ultimately have the power, not necessarily the creators. So what would you, the audience, want to see from a quote-unquote YouTube competitor? I think that'd be really cool.
Question of the day. Let's start doing that.
Okay. If you remind me,
cool.
I'll try
to remember it. I'll try to remember to do so as well. But yeah, question of the day. That'll be good. But yeah, like Aiden said, comments are always welcome. If you have any things you want us to talk about in future episodes, any big topics or anything like that, let us know. And if you're a creator or an entrepreneur or somebody that just really loves YouTube and think you have some insightful stuff to talk about on here, let us know and we'll try to have you on it, because we're trying in 2018 to get some guests on the podcast.
That'd be really fun. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Same. But other than that, thank
Smash
you
that like button.
Exactly. Exactly. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I'm working on getting the last 2 episodes out on iTunes. So if you've listened on iTunes and you're like, where's the last episodes? I'm sorry about that. Unfortunately, the podcast place that I go to put videos on, or podcasts on iTunes, I have to split the episodes up because sometimes they're so long. Because Aden wants a 3.5 hour podcast.
We did it. We did it, everybody.
So, but anyways, that's all I got for this week.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I've been Zach.
And I've been Aiden.
And we want to thank you for listening to this episode of another YouTube podcast.
Bye-bye.
Bye.